We're live?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Maxx Chewning, the deadlift bra.
Skinniest guy on the internet.
No, bro.
I'm out there.
We were just talking about, I think your physique's great. I think it's fucking...
I haven't done a calf
You're
race
strong.
in 2.5 years.
You're strong. Yeah, I feel like we're in the same world of internet as we don't take ourselves that serious.
Nope, I mean, yeah. It's actually probably pretty embarrassing how little I take seriously.
Yeah, I think that's good though. People that take themselves too seriously piss me off sometimes.
Yeah.
Our core root is strength and powerlifting.
Yep. Just want to pick up heavy weight, put it back down.
We like to look okay, even though it's very difficult for us.
Yes.
Like clothes and physique and...
even though people wouldn't agree with me, I like to
They try.
consider myself somewhat aesthetic.
I agree.
People are just laughing right now.
And then we're in the same kind of age group. So that's kind of why I wanted to chat. Yeah, getting old, bro. 30's on the way. You're done for.
So it's all done now.
Tell us about young Max. When did you start the tubes? When did you, maybe even find the tubes?
So I found the tubes. I'm currently 27 years old. I found the tubes around 23. So it was right when I graduated college. And if you guys have been watching YouTube for a long time, you know of Nick Wright, aka NWB Bodybuilding, Nick Wright Bodybuilding. I was a big fan of him. Followed a bunch of other people, Chris Jones, Hodge Twins, Scooby, Scott Herman, who everyone started.
Scooby, dude. I was going at Connor about Scooby. Scooby's the OG, doesn't know about Scooby.
Super OG, and I was really into watching all these people, Matt Ogus, and then he happened to just move to my area. I tweeted at him, was like, hey, we should link up, lift. I'm kind of strong. I was running like 531 back in the day.
You and Nick Wright are Tinder friends.
Twitter.
But kind of the same.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
He moved here, knew pretty much one person, his cousin, and I was like, hey,
Oh, that's cool.
I watch your vids, let's link up. Went to the gym, kind of started as a gym relationship, meet, all right, we're done with the gym, goodbye. Then we expanded it to getting Chipotle after.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he's sleeping over.
A lot of love happens at Chipotle.
Yeah. And at the time, he was like, YouTube was kind of like on the up and coming. It wasn't really common to have a big YouTube channel, and my deadlift was my thing that kind of stood out. I remember I made like a call out video to like Matt Ogus on Nick's channel way back in the day.
That's great.
It was like 450 on deads for reps or something like that.
You hijacked his channel to call out.
He thought it was a great idea. It's like, hell yeah, it'd be like a great.
It is a good idea.
It was good, and then I just started being in his videos, and then I just kind of from there picked up and started making my own stuff, and it's a lot different than it is now. It was way more douchey than I currently am.
I was not going to say that, but I was going to say that so that I have a lot of respect for you, or as like not only a lifter, entrepreneur, or whatever it is that the hell that we do.
Whatever you want to call it.
And as a creator, because I'm not going to lie, I don't watch every single one of your videos, but I saw some back in the day.
Right.
And that's when I started to reach out to you. I did a lot of marketing for Slingshot, and that's how we met. But then till now, like your videos are like day and night. Like it's like YouTube video, and then now it's like creative masterpiece. Like they're really good.
It kind of went from like I enjoyed making videos, now I enjoy creating videos. At that kind of difference, I like the aspect of putting myself out there and putting content out there, and now I've kind of fallen in love with videography and editing and post production and like getting creative, and it's just it keeps me interested in doing what I'm doing. Instead of just like, okay, now I got to put another video out. Let me just go film some stuff. Like, I know it works. Like now I'm like, okay, how can I make a video that's different from the last video, and keep thinking ahead and forward thinking and kind of evolving and moving with the trends and finding out what works and what doesn't, and just kind of put my own little spin on things.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of us, we talked about how we don't have a lot of friends outside of this world anymore, just because we're in a similar mindset.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to deadlift the same weight for the rest of our lives. We don't want our content to be the same the rest of our lives. We want our, like, mentally, physically, this is all going to sound cliche, horseshit guru stuff, but it's true. Yeah. Like, we just want to evolve. Right. Like, we just want to get better at whatever the fuck we're doing. And that's why other types of jobs and other lifestyles don't really match what some of us like to do.
Exactly. And when I started YouTube, because it was such a weird thing to do, it wasn't like a social media was acceptable back then.
Especially fitness.
Yeah, and so I got tons of flack back in the day from like friends. I go to parties and stuff and be like, "Damn, Max, why aren't you flexing in your room, you loser, dude? Why you gotta do some bicep curls in the gym and film it, bro?" And I'm like,
yeah.
And I just kept doing it, and I was like. And then it's interesting, like the same people that would give me shit back in the day.
They want shoutouts.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple of those, and like not so much, but it's more like people are like, you know what, like I'm you like proved me wrong. Like, like, holy shit, like you've taken this and ran with it. Even one of my best friends, Tom, who got me into the gym, like he used to give me so much crap for like, making videos, and now he's like, it's probably the most wrong thing I've ever been in my entire life of like you going after this. So it's definitely been an interesting ride, and like when I started, I didn't kind of do it to like get to the point where I'm at now, or get to the point of like getting big on social media. It wasn't really a thing. I just did it because I like doing it, and it's just so much has changed. Like it literally is like life changing.
Yeah. Did you think about it as a career at all? And so you've had your channel about 4 years.
Yep.
Ish. At what point in that stage did you say like, all right, this could, because you've not had a real job for about a year, but besides that, when did it first pop in your head that you might be able to make this a full-time job, or that it would be, even possible?
I'd probably say like 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, there was a point where, for the longest time, I'd say for the first 2.5, maybe close to 3 years, like I'd say 2 to 2.5 years, it really wasn't something monetizable. It was like you make, a couple $200.
People have done the videos on it, but like realistically, views, guys. Views get you maybe enough for a cheap rent. Yeah, and that's it. Like no food, no car, no nothing.
Exactly,
else. And you can't live.
It was something that like just slowly. And I remember like a lot of people would ask me kind of like, what's the point of making YouTube videos? Like what's the point? And I didn't really know like what's the goal with it. And I didn't really know. I just sometimes like what you're doing is the correct path to kind of get to something that you don't really know what that is yet, but you know that like that's the way that you get there, and that's the road you need to take. And that was the kind of mindset. Like I knew that it was almost like I knew it was gonna pay off eventually. Like I knew something was gonna come from it, because it kept growing and it kept evolving, and like I loved doing it, and I just knew that I could turn into something. And then for the longest time, I had a lot of my friends, Christian Guzman and Nick Wright. They would always tell me like, "Oh, quit your job, go after it full time, like you can do it." And I was like, really hesitant, and it was a big risk. It was a big thing. Still to this day, like leaving, stability and your
benefits. Being fired, YouTube exploding. Like there's drama with YouTube every week about algorithms and ads disappearing. Like, and not that it makes or breaks careers, but the internet could just not be cool next week, potentially.
And you could do one thing, piss people off. Tomorrow, people just not care about you anymore.
Deadlifts could just be dumb, and we're both screwed.
Exactly. And it was so for about a year and a half. Before I quit my job, I like really was like considering it. But then I started like mapping out my finances, making sure that I could like afford it. And then it was about a year ago today. It was July 4th weekend. I had a lot of traveling come up in late July last year, and it was like the weekend of July 4th, and I called my boss up, and I was like, I was ready to take that plunge. But I remember like the week before I did it, it was like, today's the day, Max, today's the day. And then I'd be like, all right, reach for the phone, and like you just couldn't do it. It was very nerve-wracking, but I tell you, taking that leap, it was definitely a structured risk, but it's still a risk at it itself. And it's been like the best thing I've ever done. I haven't looked back, and I've been a year deep, and now once I've gotten out of this world where I'm kind of doing my own thing, whether it be YouTube or business or anything, I like once you kind of taste that freedom of your time and just not kind of reporting to someone else in certain aspects, like it's addicting. Like you never want to go back to you'll never go back. Especially if you have a good head on your shoulders, and whether YouTube is a thing that I'm doing in 5-10 years, I don't know. But I think that you learn from each thing, and then kind of you evolve and your interests change, and
you can apply it other places.
100%.
That's why this may not be favorable comment that I'm about to make, but like I don't think this is possible for anyone. I wish it was, but like not everyone can gain the following, can work on their own, can even the little thing like you said, like I don't know what's over here, but I know if I kind of work at this, I'm gonna end up here. And people can't have that vision, and not everybody can get there, sadly. Like
I definitely think everyone's like, I want to start a YouTube channel, and
especially right now,
as real as it is, like I think it's awesome that everyone wants to do these things that either they look up to people, or they see like whatever lifestyle, or they want to put themselves out there, want to gain more confidence. Everyone should do it, but a realistic aspect is like not everyone is going to succeed at it in a way that is going to like give them this freedom that they really want, and that's with anything in life. Like
not everybody can be president, even though your third grade teacher told you that.
Exactly. And but that's not to say that like there's something that everyone has something that they can do that can kind of give them that same ability to kind of get out on their own.
You can still be your own boss. Correct. It's just not this is the route, because I think over the last 4 years, like even when you started kind of watching is when I started really digging into it, and I watched the Augusts, I watched the Nick Wrights, and I still do. I keep up with everybody. But those guys, like probably you as well, I'm not watching Ogus and saying like, man, I want to make my own videos because he's loaded and he's working for himself. I just felt like, oh, maybe people want to see what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And then you do it, and then people like my instruction. I'm going to give more instruction, or people like my daily eating, so I'm going to do that, or whatever it is. And like, that's cool. I get to share this experience with these people, rather than now, because of these last 4 years, a lot of people have worked really hard and been very successful. That now everybody sees it like, oh, I want an SRT8 like Maxx, and YouTube bought him an SRT8.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like I've always said to people, do making videos because you enjoy making, you enjoy the content. And like when I started, it wasn't a thing that people were like killing it on YouTube. Yeah. It was like, especially YouTube Fitness at the time. When I met Nick Wright, he had 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah, and he was probably the third biggest.
Blew my mind. Like that was a crazy number, crazy number. And it wasn't like something that I started because I wanted to never work a normal job and do this YouTube. It's like, but nowadays, because it's so popularized, I would say, although people will say it isn't, I would say for 80 to 85% of people who start a YouTube channel, it's because they see this certain thing and they think if they start it that they're gonna get it, and like almost like for that reason, that's why they won't. Like you really have to do it because you love it, and it's just something that evolves over time, and it's hard to like relay that to people because and especially they get discouraged. I mean, I've been doing it for 4 years, and if someone in 1 year doesn't make it, they automatically quit and say it sucks, and they're like, I can't do it. But I'm like, I have over 700 videos. I put out 4 videos a week. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, it is emotional even in our state. Like we said, like we don't know if deadlifts are going to be cool. And like, I'm sure there's weeks we're humans. Like, fuck, dude, my channel's done. Like I'm getting, here we go. Like,
you'll see one video, you're like, oh my god, it's down.
I'm done. Start applying for jobs.
It's an interesting avenue, but like I love it, and that's the thing though, when I think the people that kind of stay the same, or they kind of go down, or they're social, especially if they're just doing the social media thing, and maybe they're certain people surpass them who started after them, and I think a lot of it comes down to people don't evolve with what it is, and they think that whatever they're doing works, or they're like, this is my thing and I'm not going to change, or I'm not going to do this stupid like trend or whatever. And like I think that's the wrong way to go about it. I think if you really want to put in the work, like I do things for YouTube, it makes me get out of my comfort zone. It makes me go out, do things, travel all the time.
Yeah, it is like entertainment, information, whatever. So there is a hair of acting. Mm-hmm. Like there's a hair of it. Like people don't want to say that. Like, oh, I am. Like, yes, we both are ourselves. And I think you and I are pretty similar in this sense that we're both ourselves 100% on camera, podcast, whatever. We're just probably turned up a notch.
Yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like both of you and I are already kind of high strung and loud guys. And then the camera turns on and we go from an 8 to a 9.
Yeah, 100%.
But otherwise we're the same.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big part of it, is being who you are, but also people want to be entertained, and like people get bored fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll make videos that, you get hundreds and hundreds of positive comments, but like the 2 that like this was boring, or like these videos are getting repetitive.
Knife in your heart.
Those are literally like, oh my god, they are getting repetitive. Like I'm stuck. They're like, this is terrible. Like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And like,
but at least you're thinking of what can I do.
Exactly.
Rather than like, fuck, they hate me. You're thinking like, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, but can I improve upon this?
It's a difficult thing. Like unless you live some crazy lavish lifestyle, like, how are you going to take your daily life? Like, why should people care about what you do? And how are you going to sustain that for making videos multiple times a week if you doing essentially the same thing over and over again and still keep people interested? It's a hard thing to do, and like, it's just.
I think it goes back to what you said though, because you're trying to evolve as a creator. You're trying to evolve as you put in good money and time into the equipment you use, into the editing you use. You were telling me that you can't sleep sometimes at night because you're thinking about how to make your kale smoothie look cooler. Like you're thinking about ideas on how to do things better. And I'm the same way, that as a coach and as a creator, is that you're constantly thinking of how to better yourself, better the content, and better the things you do, rather than, like you said, just kind of stay the same. And that doesn't mean like, oh, now I'm going to go do a fidget spinner video because everyone's doing a fidget spinner video, but that means like, oh, like I see things going this way. If I could get better at these things, then we'll go this way as well.
Definitely. And I like with YouTube, I mean, it's always about what's next. I mean, especially when you put out a video. I mean, I had a video go up live this morning, right? So last night I finished it, I edited it, I was done filming it, uploaded. So it's now when I'm going to bed or wake up this morning, I'm like, okay, now what? Like now I gotta start making the next video. And like, you always gotta be on, and you always like, people think that the whole YouTube life is, pretty lax and everything, and there is some benefits, and you do have a lot of freedom, and you can take a day off if you want to, whenever. And but it's also like you're kind of on all the time, and like you need to always be thinking, always be doing, and especially with daily vlogging. A lot of people, I not say I wish, but like there's a lot of people like Omar Isuf, right?
Yeah.
Super informative, knowledgeable guy, and he is. It actually amazes me, and like I give him crazy, credit for being one of the true, fitness YouTubers that stayed kind of the same and keeps killing it and keeps growing.
He's
right?
one of the few that were kind of in that same realm of the beginning that still does really well. He's still relevant.
Correct, and he like a lot of his videos doing some talking, and every now and then I see him like kind of walking around the street. And
sometimes
stuff.
he's just sitting in a garden or something.
But it's cool. Like, but I think with vlogging, when like you have to like be going out and doing all this stuff, and like if you were blessed like Omar to be able to have like the knowledge and whatever to just do something in one environment, I think that's like I'm jealous of that. Like I'm like, man, I wish I could just like film an entire video just in the gym, which actually I might do today.
And we're doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly. But like even with Omar, it's people, no matter what avenue you're in, whether it's strictly fitness, beauty, health, and vlogs, whatever. You all, like no matter what, you have your way of like improving every single time, and trying to almost not recycle stuff, but like do it again in a better way. And I'm like
same with your vlogs. Yeah, it is the same. Like I've talked about deadlift and flat back 10 times, but each one hopefully is a little bit better or a different cue to help somebody else. And same with your vlog. Like you've been in DC for whatever 5 years, and the same building may be in the same shot, but each time it's going to get a little more creative or a little bit cooler looking or a little bit cleaner looking.
Yeah, for sure. So it's always about evolving, and I mean that applies for everything if you want to be all motivational and stuff. But if YouTube specifically, it's always about what's next. How can I do it better? How can I do it again? And how can I keep people interested?
So what's next? What's next with Deadlift Broad Lifting? What's next with Ever Forward, which is your main company? And what's next with the YouTube content?
So myself, I'm focusing like we'll start with deadlift. So lifting is a big obviously a huge part of my life, and I really love doing it. I don't strive to be, nor do I think I ever will be the strongest individual out there. I don't care to be, go to worlds. I have no interest in it, and I also don't think it's in my cards to be the strongest person. Not saying you should set your standards low, but you gotta be the expert.
You should also be self-aware.
Correct, right? And so for me, it's always just. It's about having fun in the gym, and a lot of people will see progress of certain lifts, and they're like, oh, like. Some of the comments you get on YouTube with your progress, it almost like you're like, man, I should hate myself because like these people are so pissed off about my progress more than I'm mad about my own progress. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, pretty satisfied.
So it's continuing to enjoy the progress in the gym, and just like enjoying lifting and my physique alterations, as small as they may be, and getting stronger is always something very cool. So I want to do that indefinitely as long as I can. So that's why. Me hitting a 5-pound PR on deadlift every 6 months, I'm like, fine. That's more PRs I'm gonna hit over a lifetime.
And progress is progress.
Correct.
Progress literally trumps all.
Correct. And I think when people get to a certain point, like it's gonna screech into a halt.
Yeah.
And then for Ever Forward, it's all about spreading the brand, spreading the message, getting positivity out there. I want to do a lot of I do a lot of charity stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to actually do some, instead of just donating money, I want to do some actual events and go out and do some stuff, and then just continue to evolve as a company and create better products, new products, and just spread it out there. And as far as YouTube content, I'm big. I know you've been talking about like traveling a lot. It's what I like to do, and I made like a promise to myself into the channel about the end of last year, and like around Christmas time, and I said in 2017 I want to travel at least once a month. So it kind of forces me. So every month I'm like, I'm either gonna drive somewhere that's like an hour and a half away and like for a weekend, or I'm gonna fly somewhere, and I've been doing it, and it's been really cool because as much as people potentially can get bored of you being in your house and going to the gym and then going to Chipotle and kind of repeating the cycle and showing your groceries, like I get bored of filming that same stuff.
And you get bored of living it.
Correct.
It's cool, the adventure.
And because I like enjoy making videos so much, when I'm editing the same footage, I'm like, damn, like I don't want to make people bored. So I've been doing a lot of traveling domestically, internationally. This year is the first time I've gone overseas, and I've been to 4 different areas overseas.
That's dope.
And so I just want to keep on that path and keep trying to pave my uniqueness in the YouTube fitness community, which what I think is my creativity and adding taking your typical things and kind of adding some humor and some entertainment into it. Because at the end of the day, my channel, you know, I'm not an Omar Yusof. I'm not, you know, a you. Not great with the dance moves as you are, but you know,
we'll teach that.
Like my main goal on my channel is if I can give, you know, inspiration, tips, you know, motivation, whatever, as like a secondary. I think that's awesome in my own way, but it's not like my direct focus is like to just entertain, like to give people like a kind of an escape from their day. You know, they leave the video, they're like, you know, laughing, smiling, whatever. So that's like my main goal. So I try to be wacky, brighten people's day, and do that whatever possible, and also lift some heavy ass weight at the same time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deadlift Bra, Maxx Chewning. You know who he is, and if you don't, check him out below. Appreciate you guys. We're gonna go chug monsters and lift some weights, and maybe you'll see us traveling together.
Woo! Peace.
Thunder buddies.